Hey guys, welcome back to At the Movies with Porter and Steele. And today we're reviewing Swiss Family Robinson, the classic from 1960. A movie I grew up on that I have very fond memories from.
This is actually my first introduction to the movie. Well, second, I watched it a little while back, but going back again and watching it was definitely an enjoyable movie. Lots in this movie that was a definite improvement over the other Disney movies we've been watching recently. The other classics from our childhood.
I think it's just something with live action that's just better.
At least with the old
It's not
Disney
as cheesy,
movies.
it's not as stupid. Yeah.
And I'm not going to compare that to like Aladdin live action, because Aladdin
That's in a class all its own.
Yeah.
So the plot basically is a Swiss family in the early 1800s is shipwrecked off the coast of an island that they don't know. And there's obviously a bunch of animals and stuff like that they've never encountered that are scary, that endangers them, but they have to stick together. And it's the movie basically is about like what is actually important in life.
And
what can you live without?
Yeah, it's your family, and they're going through all the bare necessities, the things that they find on the island, the things that they had on the boat still. They bring back pieces of the boat so that they can build themselves someplace to live while they're waiting for rescue. But they also have to fear the reason they're here in the first place, which was they were being chased into a storm by pirates.
By pirates, yeah. So basically, a lot of the movie, the budget is going into the animals that they have. They have literally every animal you've ever seen is probably in this movie.
It's so many animals.
Yeah.
I mentioned multiple times while we were watching, man, where's this shot? Because these animals are crazy diverse.
Yeah. They did a really good job in that. They did a great job. I think the casting was really good as far as the father, I think John Mills is who played him. He was really great, and as we said, he's the anchor of the movie. He's the rock that everything goes off of.
He seems to be like the one that decides everything, sort of like an old school American ideal of a family, where the father's the head of the household, the mother takes care of the children and stuff like that.
But he's not a tyrant.
No, and I mean the movie is ancient, so of course it has the ideals of the time.
You know what I just noticed in that cover? They don't have Ernst in there.
They don't have Ernst?
No, the middle kid. He's not even in there.
Yeah, he's not on the boat.
Oh, I'm sure he's on the boat.
No, there's only 4 people in that entire...
No, there's 5. Francis is hiding right there.
Oh, okay.
Ernst is in the back. That's Ernst in the back.
Oh, it is. Yeah. But he's not in the, head.
I know. He must be pissed. He's the only one still alive out of all the family.
That's the reason they couldn't get the rights to his image.
Yeah. So the movie, I mean, it's been out since 1960, so there'll be a little bit of spoilers in here, I guess. I mean, I'll go over the basics. So
spoilers for an 80-year-old movie.
It's not 80, Jesse. It's 60 next year.
Yeah.
But so basically what happens is, like I said, they get shipwrecked, and their first thing is, okay, well, how do we survive? And then once they figure out, okay, they can survive on the island, now how do we sustain a decent life, a living? So what they do is, like you said, they built a house out of what they could. They built a tree house, basically. And then they start to get comfortable there. And then the next thing is, well, the dad starts to realize, or the mom says it. She goes,
the mom's the one that brings it up.
We can't continue. Or what if our boys never know what it's like to have a family?
Yeah, our life can't just be this.
Yeah, so they need to go experience that and have a chance to have a family and go find a woman for themselves. So the 2 oldest boys, Fritz and Ernst, end up going to sail around. They're trying to figure out,
the island
see if it's an island or a peninsula, and they end up coming across a cabin boy and his grandpa. The cabin boy ends up being a girl. Not a very good disguise, but I understand they had to do what they had to do. But
it's also one of my favorite parts of the scene is because it's Disney. They can't mention why she's dressed as a guy, but
they just say because of the pirates.
Yeah, because of the pirates. The pirates couldn't know.
But I'll give you this though. It is kind of because it's Disney, but in a way, you don't really need to say it. I think everyone kind of knows. It's kind of a classy way to avoid just straight up saying it.
I guess it is wholesome. Yeah,
the movie's classy. I don't really feel like it does a whole lot of cheesy thing. I really don't. I don't think it's that cheesy. You may think so. I don't think it's that cheesy. But so basically, once they rescue him at the time, what they thought was a guy, and then later on they start to argue because the boy, which ends up being a girl, her name is actually
it was something weird.
Starts with an R. What is it?
Yeah.
Roberta.
Yeah, Roberta.
Yeah, so Roberta ends up saying, hey, I'm going to go back to the beach to wait for my grandfather because she feels like she's lost and kind of like a prisoner, I guess, at this point. And then they're like, no, because what is it? They asked her to take her clothes off so they could like go through a river.
Yeah.
And obviously because she didn't want to let them know that she was a girl, she wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm going to go save my grandpa
She was super weird about it, yeah.
So
they end up, disarming her after she takes a gun, and they figure out she's a girl. And then they change their attitude, which is 100% accurate, that like, you would be nicer to a girl. Especially if you haven't seen one in a long time.
Oh, we're trapped on an island, and you're a girl.
Yep. Something's gonna happen. So yeah, and then from then on, they try to make her stay as best as possible. They finally get back to their camp, the tree house, and so they're all happy. So that actually happened on Christmas in the story, so that was really nice. And then soon after that, the pirates come, and that's when the finale happens, the fight versus the pirates to defend their home. But overall, I think it's a great movie. The lessons that it teaches you about, like I said, like what makes a person happy. Ernst, the oldest, and Roberta, they have that line in there where they say, as long as two people have each other, what more could they want? Because they're debating on whether they should go back to London or not, and she decides that, like, she wanted to go to London, but she decides that, just being with him is enough. And so he's like, hey, I got my girl, like, what else do I need? I got the land that I wanted and everything, so he's good. I felt like we talked about, like, when we previously tried to do this, that the relationship between the father and mother is I think the best duo. It's like the lines that they have. My favorite line probably in the movie is, like I described before, is when they first get, the first night that they're there on the island, and the father's standing watch on a beach with a gun, and he's just waiting, and it starts to rain, and his wife walks over to him and says, like, aren't you coming to bed? And he was like, no, I'm alright. And he basically tells her, I'm sorry things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, that I wanted them to. Because he told his family, this is what's best for you, so that we go, because they were from Switzerland. They left Switzerland because of the war, Napoleon's War, to go to New Guinea to try to find a new place for their family, a new life. So, they all had to trust him, and the fact that it blew up all in his face, he kind of feels like he's guilty, he's responsible for it.
He takes the blame.
Yeah, and she told him a very important line: just because we got shipwrecked doesn't mean that it was the wrong decision.
Yeah, just because things went wrong doesn't mean you made a bad decision.
Yeah, so I think that's really important. Francis, we'll talk about Francis. What do you want to say? The kid's stupid.
Yeah,
he adds some like life into the movie.
He's the young one, right?
Yeah.
The one that's like, we should put a tiger in a pit.
Yeah.
I mean, I have problems with Francis, but overall, I'd have to say, like, my favorite part of the movie is the ingenuity of the family and all the things they make. The set pieces
out of necessity, like you said during the movie, like they had to do it.
Necessity is the mother of invention, and I mean, they make tons of great things. Like, they make like a water system where this wheel carries water up to the top, and it all flows down through these like slides and ladders.
Yeah, that way they don't have to go constantly grab pitchers of water. They just have that, and it just takes care of it for them.
And they build their houses into the trees because there's tigers and stuff like that.
They used a tortoiseshell as a sink.
Yeah, like it's so ridiculous. And then near the climax of the movie, when they're fighting pirates, they make weapons out of just everything they have, the terrain, everything.
They cut like giant trees down so they could use them as weapons, as logs to roll it down a hill.
Yeah, and they put a tiger inside of a hole. And
hey man, I enjoyed it. I like that part.
Yeah.
So overall, I love this movie. There's no doubt about it. I don't know if it would make like a top 10 or anything like that, but as far as like, because there's a difference between, I guess, like movies that you go like, man, that movie was just like one of the best I've ever seen, and then I would say movies that like top 10 most important to me as far as like, deep in my heart, deep in my soul. Yeah. I would definitely say this is a top 10 movie I feel connected to, that I personally have a relationship, a bond with. I power bonded with it. But I love this movie. It's one of the first movies I remember watching, so that means a lot to me as far as live action. So rating?
I would rate this pretty high. I would say, like, if you like old movies, even if you don't like old movies, this is probably a buy it, own it. This movie's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I would love to say it's a masterpiece. It's not a masterpiece because it doesn't quite enthrall you in every step of, every single moment is like on the edge of your seat. It doesn't really do edge of your seat moments. But it's definitely just like a good movie with a good message. Practical. It's all practical. There is no real special effects other than maybe like the intro.
Because this is back before special effects was really a thing.
Yeah. So, and like I said, the acting performances all did. It still feels 1960s, but I don't think in a bad way. I think
Yeah.
it's like in a wholesome way, like you said, that it works for a Disney movie.
I would say the only thing that really holds it back from being a masterpiece is the fact that it's just like a film about a family in desperate times. There's no real plot. It's just what happens.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Yeah, there's not there's no plot twist.
Yeah, but
it's
a very beautiful.
The only
movie.
plot twist is that a girl shows up.
Yeah.
On the island. That's pretty much it. But yeah, okay. Well, like I said, buy it, own it for me. By the way, if you do want this Blu-ray, the only way to get it is to buy it off Disney's website to get Disney exclusive, like to be a Disney movie member or whatever.
Oh, well,
So
don't shill for Disney.
no, I'm not. But I will say, if you love this movie, that is kind of your only way to get it for cheaper. Otherwise, you can buy it off Amazon, but someone's going to charge you like $55 for it. That's why I was looking and I was like, wow, why is it so expensive? So I definitely think it's worth it, though, if you're a movie fan or that you like these kind of old movies. So I think that's it for us. Go see Swiss Family Robinson now.